First here tonight at 5 o'clock, we begin with breaking news. We're keeping an eye for you on I-65 southbound in the downtown area after firefighters have within the hour put out a large fire involving an RV. You can sort of see it right there in the middle of your screen as that big white semi is getting ready to go by it. This is a live camera brewer coming from Trimark in downtown Louisville. Now, the RV is sitting in the southbound lanes, again, just off the Kennedy Bridge. You see it there right now against the wall there, holding still.
We first noticed this after 4 o'clock this afternoon, and our Alex Dieter and photojournalist Emma Gepter were in that area at the time and recorded this video down below from I-64. Louisville Metro Safe tells us that they have no reported injuries. And good news. The good news there, but the fallout again is the traffic. It really is a mess because now another crash has been reported down further south of this on I-65 in the old Louisville area. This traffic problem in downtown is going to be with us for quite a while. Also tonight, very disturbing testimony about what may have happened to Crystal Rogers after she was killed 10 years ago in Bardstown. It's another stunning revelation on the stand as the trial in Bowling Green starts its second week. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Proffitt. And I'm Connie Leonard. Here are 3 takeaways that you need to know from the courtroom today. Well,
the Commonwealth's 21st witness called to the stand, Amber Bowman. That's Nick Houck's girlfriend. Brooks Houck's brother is Nick Houck. Nick Houck's girlfriend at the time of Crystal's disappearance. On the 3rd of July, 10 years ago, she said they were moving, but Nick Houck was not there to help her out. She told the juror she called him several times, but his phone was off, something she said was unusual. She said Nick did not come home that night.
Also on the stand today, a former employee of Houck who overheard the Lawsons. He claims Joseph Lawson said he would bury Crystal with a skid steer and no one would find her. So again, second witness to bring up the skid steer, and yet another witness disputed Houck's claims that he was with Crystal until midnight. Owen McKinney took the stand saying he saw Crystal's car on the side of the Bluegrass Parkway the evening of July 3rd.
Let's pick up our coverage from another day in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Shay McAllister is there. She has been following it closely. And Shay, we've wondered if we would ever hear from the Houck family on the witness stand this week. And today we heard from some at least close to the family. What can you tell us about that riveting testimony?
We heard from Nick Houck's ex-girlfriend. They were together for almost a decade. They were together in 2015. And that weekend, July 3rd, 2015, she told the jury they were supposed to be moving. However, Nick Houck was nowhere to be found on that day. He told her in the morning he was going to help his brother, Brooks Houck, at a rental property. She tried calling him all day long. He never showed up at night. She called him overnight. And then the next morning she started calling again. He never answered any of those phone calls. She said it was unusual behavior for his phone to be off for 24 hours and that there was tension between them because she couldn't figure out why he would be helping his brother and not helping them get moved. Doug, Connie?
Former employee of Brooks Houck provided some of the most explosive testimony during the Steve Lawson trial, and he was called again today during this trial. Did he say anything new?
Former employee. He said that he heard Joseph Lawson say something to the effect of he had been with him when he asked that he would pull Crystal Rogers' teeth and then the hogs would do the rest. Of course, that is jarring testimony to hear, and Rogers' family was quick to pull out the tissues during that. But I do want to say, while it was jarring, it was not hard to miss just how many holes the defense was able to poke in his story. The defense was able to point out he had 4 different versions of that story before he landed on the one that we heard today. They tried to make a case that police had helped him create this story, and in doing so promised him something on the other side.
All right, Shay, thank you very much. We'll be having more of Shay's reports coming up, and we also want to invite you to stick with us in just a few minutes. Our WHAS11 legal expert, Nick Mudd, will be here. We'll continue to bring you all the latest updates on this trial as well. Coming up later tonight after a full day in the courtroom on the free WHAS11 Plus app. Our 30-minute wrap-up begins at 9 p.m. tonight on the free WHAS11 Plus app. Download that on your TV and watch for free. But again, Nick Mudd here in just a few minutes at 5:30. Connie?
Fire officials are investigating after a fire in Eminence, Kentucky and Henry County. Lake Jericho Fire and Rescue Department posted on Facebook that crews responded to a structure fire and asked people in that area to avoid the scene while they work to gain control of it. WHAS has confirmed that fire happened at Johnson & Company Flooring on South Main Street. It's unclear what caused the fire or if there were any injuries. Once again, once we learn more, we'll update you on air and on the free WHAS11 app.
The clouds kept the searing heat away from us today, but we are waiting for those afternoon thunderstorms. When they pop up, they are still dropping torrential amounts of rain around Kentuckiana.
They really are, Mallory, and it seems like we have a lot of them.
Yeah, that has really been the trend in the forecast for the last several days, and it's no reason, or there's no question about why they're dropping so much rain. You can feel the humidity in the air, so you know there's a lot of moisture out there, and these scattered downpours that are pushing to the east around the I-75 corridor, dropping quite a bit of rainfall with them. Now, temperature-wise, we are starting to see those temps warm up this afternoon and early evening. That's because we're getting a bit more sunshine in the Louisville metro area, so we're currently close to 90 degrees here locally. We have more of those upper 80s, lower 90s off to the north, and then a bit more of that cool rain, cooled air down to our south and southeast around Springfield, Lebanon, Campbellsville as well, where there has been more rain around for the afternoon and early evening. Temperatures currently in the 70s. Now, dew points, those are very high, so you're certainly feeling all of that humidity this evening, and that's making those temperatures feel quite a bit warmer than they actually are. Your hour-by-hour futurecast as we carry onward throughout this evening. Expect an isolated shower or storm here, but many of us will actually stay dry until likely late tonight. This is when a front will trigger some scattered showers and storms, some downpours certainly possible. That will push through the area through early tomorrow morning. Expect overnight lows tonight in the 70s, highs tomorrow in the 80s. We'll take a look at our detailed 7-day forecast. That's coming up shortly.
Mallory, thank you. More news for you at 5 o'clock. The president of Louisville's Firefighters Union criticizing the city's budget priorities after its passage just last week by the Louisville Metro Council.
The vote cut the fire department's operating budget by nearly 5%, but added money for a new firehouse. Our
Ian Hardwick breaks down the push and pull now between the union and the mayor's office.
We made it very clear to the mayor that we needed additional funding and that needed to be represented in this budget. That didn't happen.
Jeff Taylor, president of the Local 54 Louisville Firefighters Union, wanted millions more dollars this year for aging fire trucks and engines, but this year's budget only pays for one.
They take 3 to 4 years from the time you order to get here. Keep in mind, I was on a piece of equipment that was a 1989 vintage on Friday.
The same figures as last year. The Louisville Metro Council passed $2 million for new fire department vehicles in this year's budget and $800,000 for firehouse repairs. With a $4 million budget reduction in operating funds, Taylor said he was left out on how that money was spent.
That's completely false. I'm so proud of the investments that we have made in the Louisville Fire Department. We've supported them through a historic, great new contract for all the firefighters. In just a few months ago, when we had some surplus funds, we invested about half of that money in improvements to our firehouse, in new equipment.
That's true. $6.1 million went to the department in December. Back then, Chief Brian O'Neill said the department was still $6 million behind on ordering new engines and trucks and $33 million behind on firehouse repairs. For example, Fire Engine Company 23 near Iroquois Park can't accommodate female firefighters. Metro Council passed $3 million for its reconstruction last week, but it needs $3 million more to be fully funded. The mayor's office promises the fire station will be built after passing the second half in next year's budget. Taylor agrees it needs replacing.
But if you're telling me we have limited dollars to spend, and how do you want to spend those, then it should be apparatus first, repairs and maintenance on facilities that are 100+ years old, and then build a new firehouse.
That's left him relying on another budget surplus this year. In Louisville, Ian Hardwick, WHAS 11 on your side.
Well, 2 high-ranking positions at the department were eliminated as a result of those budget cuts. One monitored the health of firefighters and the other ensured compliance with national firefighting standards.
The mayor's office said those positions were soon going to be vacant and that all department heads were asked to find cuts.
Well, a suspect who allegedly killed at least 2 firefighters in an ambush in Idaho has been found dead after an hours-long multi-agency manhunt.
Investigators say the suspected sniper targeted and shot at the firefighters that were responding to a brush fire. Here's ABC's Alex Stone following the story in Idaho.
Amid a smoky haze from the wildfire that's still burning, which the sheriff says was set as a ruse to ambush firefighters, investigators are now streaming in. Law enforcement sources tell ABC News a shooter was 20-year-old Wes Rowley. He was found dead hours after the fire was started. It all began Sunday afternoon with the call of a routine wildfire on a mountain outside of Coeur d'Alene. When firefighters arrived, they started taking sniper fire.
They're shot. Everybody's shot up here. Law enforcement, code 3 now up here.
2 firefighters were killed. Another was badly injured. The shooter hid in the woods.
First really started hearing the sirens as far as kind of going up and down there, kind of going around town. And immediately just kind of the tension really just kind of went up all around as far as all around town.
For hours, it was unclear if the shooter was alive. The sheriff gave the green light for anybody with a clear shot to take him out. Snipers were perched in helicopters above, but then by Sunday night, they detected a cell phone signal that had not been moving. When they honed in on that area, they saw the shooter dead.
I'm a 4th-generation Idahoan, and the shockwave is really something else. People who have been here just a short amount of time and people who grew up here, it's just, they're shocked.
Overnight, fellow firefighters saluted on overpasses as the bodies of the fallen were driven away from a hospital. Today, with the scene secure, firefighters are streaming in here as investigators are searching these woods for any other weapons left behind by the shooter. Alex Stone, ABC News, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
And right now, you're taking a live look at the Senate floor where the clock is ticking as senators scramble to hash through the massive spending and tax bill. They have spent the past several hours in a vote-a-rama, and Republicans are rushing to get it across the finish line by July 4th.
And Kentucky's own Rand Paul, really been making headlines on this because he's been against it. Senate Republicans can only afford to lose support from 3 of their colleagues, and right now it's unclear if they even meet that threshold. It's going to come down to the wire. The bill includes roughly $4 trillion in tax cuts, paid for in part by big cuts to Medicaid that the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office says would lead to nearly 12 million Americans potentially losing their health insurance coverage over the next 10 years.
And the Budget Office also estimates that that bill will add more than $3 trillion to the national deficit over the next decade. If the bill passes the Senate, the House is expected to vote on the changes Wednesday.